Let's take some questions if we got some.
Question from Shanna Photography. Do you think Google Plus is useful if you do fine art? I thought it was really for editorial and commercial photographers. Thank you.
I think Google Plus has its place in all spaces, really. I mean, it's just another place to showcase your work. They do a great job of presenting photographs or art pieces, whatever it might be, in the lightbox style that they use. I think it's fine.
Sarah E. had asked, what are your tips for introverts?
Introverts, okay. Well, I understand that. I'm not an introvert, as most of the people in this office now know. But I understand. My wife is an introvert. She does not like to be on Twitter or in the public eye or anything like that. My suggestion would be to take baby steps. If you're unsure on how to do something, find one network that works. Let's say you're more comfortable typing out 140 characters than you are anything else, okay? There are ways to hook Twitter into Google Plus and Facebook, so theoretically when you post to one network, all of your networks get populated. And so if you can be comfortable with that one statement, it could go across all your spaces. If you're really just not into being in the public eye at all, like for instance, let's say you don't want your face gracing the cover of your YouTube channel, like I do. Work on a logo or a brand statement or something that you can put there instead, okay? Don't hide behind your brand, but use it as a way of putting kind of a security blanket in front of you, okay?
Jardenia has asked, how does Twitter help build community, and what role do hashtags play? So that second part would be kind of the main question.
Twitter is, in my opinion, one of the ultimate community builders. All right, I have a community of folks that follow me on Twitter that I know in an instant I can tweet something out and I will get a response. So, for instance, when I'm stuck on what to do for a video, I'll put out a tweet. Working on a video, what do you want to learn? My community instantly comes back and I have 10 or 15 ideas that maybe I didn't have before. And that turns into a list, which then turns into episodes of a show, which then turns into more people following me. I've cultivated this community. Now you have to find the right way to do that, okay? Because there's a fine line between conversation and spam. And if you don't walk the tightrope properly, you can fall to your death very quickly. So, you know, find a way to walk that line as easy as you can. As far as hashtags go, hashtags are a great way to track things on Twitter, in my opinion, okay? Like, for instance, here today, we're going to be doing some contests or what have you through Twitter. You guys are tracking that through the Justin Live hashtag, right? So, you know, when somebody types out # Justin Live, that's a chance for them to see, number one, that they're watching me and they're watching the class, and number two, that they've entered the contest. So if you're running contests or anything like that with your business or something like that through Twitter, that's a great tracking tool.
Question from Mike Goddard. Will you talk a little bit about watermarking images that you put on social media? Mm-hmm. I know people are really concerned about that.
Yeah. There's two schools of thought there. Some people say, you know, yes, watermark it like crazy. Some people don't. Some of the big photographers that you see out there, they don't watermark their photos. Trey Ratcliffe does not watermark his photos, for one. I was amazed when I saw that he didn't watermark his photos, quite frankly. But Trey registers his photos through copyright or through Creative Commons, and I dare somebody to go rip off one of those photos and put it in like an ad or something like that, because you will wind up paying for that. So, you know, find a way to protect your images either through copyright, Creative Commons, or whatever. If you want to put a watermark on there, it's just another added layer of security, but it's not necessarily a necessity in my opinion.
With regard to consistency, Weak Side Help on Twitter has asked, what about customizing your avatar for the holidays or special days, such as Pearl Harbor, etc.?
I don't see a problem with that. I usually, and I missed it this year because I was here and busy, but I usually customize my avatar for Blue Beanie Day. And if you're a dork, you know what Blue Beanie Day is. Do you not know what that is?
I do not know what Blue Beanie Day is.
Okay, so Blue Beanie Day is like kind of like Web Geek Day. So if you're into promoting web standards and you know, pushing the web forward and all that kind of stuff, you wear a blue beanie. And so that was, I believe it was Wednesday or Tuesday of this week was Blue Beanie Day. I was on camera, so I couldn't wear my blue beanie. I have it in the hotel room.
You could have.
Yeah.
Pre-show banter?
Well, I could have worn it during there, but then I would mess up my hairdo. Yeah. But yeah, so I have no problem with customizing that kind of stuff. What I would suggest is putting a consistent piece in there. So use the same avatar, but just customize the avatar. Like for instance, for mine, I would have just probably drawn a little blue beanie across my head like that, okay?
HRH has asked, are there tools to do tweet and setting up tweet sets so I don't have to do it myself? Or what do you think about outsourcing, that kind of thing?
Okay. Hi, HRH. We go way back. Yeah, there are ways to do it, especially if you have a business like a team. There's something called co-tweet, COTWEET. And so basically you can set up multiple accounts on there and you can actually schedule tweets to go out at certain times. So you guys could all sit down and collaborate on tweets for the week. And then you could set them to go out either 1 a day, 2 a day, 3 a day, whatever it might be. There's also, TweetDeck. You can have collaborative environments in TweetDeck. And then you can actually tie in multiple social networks with each other so that they cross-post and stuff like that. As far as outsourcing goes, I do know of a few people that use outsourcing, and I can tell you one thing. I've unfollowed those people because I find that to be extremely disingenuous. The best example of that, and I didn't unfollow him for this reason because I really truly think this guy is brilliant. I unfollowed him because he was blowing up my Twitter stream and I couldn't read anybody else's stuff. Guy Kawasaki, he used to work for Apple. He now works at a company called Alltop, and he writes a bunch of books. Guy has, like, whether you know it or not, he has like 5 or 6 ghostwriters that write for him on Twitter. And Guy literally posts a Twitter update like every minute. Okay? And so, number one, that's a little annoying. Don't do that. And number two, I know it's not him. So, now I have engaged with him on Twitter. I've sent him an @reply before. He has responded to me. I've sent him a direct message. He has responded to me directly. And I know it's him simply because he'll put at the end like a G or something to let you know it's him. And so I know he's there, but I don't know when he's there necessarily because he doesn't always denote. So I would not recommend outsourcing if you can help it.
We had a question from G Blink talking about the don't tweet every minute.
Right.
What is the appropriate frequency of postings and introducing new material?
Sure.
The internet has a short attention span in general, so how do you deal with that?
I try not to be too spammy. I try to walk a very fine line between information and education when I'm online. So I consider information to be like, hey, join me for my Creative Live workshop next week or something like that, right? That's information, almost like an advertisement. Whereas education and conversation are more like, hey, Justin, I don't know how to do this in Photoshop. Can you help? And I'll say, yes, it's command whatever on the keyboard to do that. Okay, that is easy. Most people can see when I post that back, right? I also do educational stuff. Instead of conversational stuff, I do educational stuff. So I'll just put out like, when you're in Photoshop or when you're in Illustrator, do this to get this result or something like that. So I've done it lots of ways. I've tweeted, I used to schedule my tweets. I really did. I used to schedule my tweets. I would schedule out about 15 a day. And I found my numbers went down because people can see through the cloud of what you're doing, whether you know it or not, because it looks too automated. If I'm putting out a tweet every hour on the hour, people are like, he's not doing that. He's not doing that. If I'm putting out, the same thing over and over and over again, okay, people are thinking, no, he's not doing that. But if here's the thing. Embrace things like spelling errors. Embrace things like using abbreviations and stuff like that. Because if you do that, like acronyms and stuff, like BRB or FML or whatever it might be, right? Use those kind of things. It makes you look human. If people see human, they think, an actual person is behind this account, not just a robot. Okay? Now, I saw you over there saying that you did some of that stuff that I was talking about, but you know what? You guys are very human in the way you approach things. And I've seen that you guys have conversations with viewers and everything else, so you guys do it correctly. You walk the line very well in that regard, in my opinion. Okay? There are a lot of other places that don't. You know, a lot of other places are all about putting out, you know, here's our latest course, buy for $10. And then somebody asks a question about it and and they don't hear anything else. So, you know, you guys are very good at that. So, you know, don't worry, I wasn't speaking to you. I saw the look of dread on your face. All right?
I mean, there's so many questions coming in.
Yeah.
It's okay. Coastal Rick asks or says, I'm getting tired of knowing when someone is at the donut shop. Am I just not with it, or is it really useless? Can you talk a little bit about,
Yeah.
you know, what your statements you should be making
Yeah.
on social media?
So, I get that. I really do. Okay? And for the longest time, I resisted the urge of things like Foursquare updates and Gowalla and all that stuff because I realized people didn't care when I was at Home Depot. Okay? But as those services have evolved more and more, and because of the fact that if you check into certain places you get free stuff, I don't necessarily give a rip if you like my tweet that I was at the airport or not. Okay? Because really and truly, like I used it on the way out here so people would know, hey, I'm on my way out to do my Creative Live workshop. And so when I was checking in on Foursquare, I would always say, you know, at the airport, getting ready for my Creative Live workshop at whatever airport I was at. You know, that's how Kenna knew that I got here that night. And she sent me a message right after that saying, welcome to Seattle. And so, you know, little things like that can start a conversation, spark a conversation. Now, if you're a business, because I'm a person, I'm not a business. I'm a person. I have a personal brand, but I'm not a business. So if you're a business, there's probably not a whole lot of room for telling people that you went to the bathroom or that you went and ate at McDonald's or whatever it might be. Don't go eat at McDonald's either, by the way. It's bad for you. But I love you, Ronald. You were my friend for many years, though. So let me get that out of the way. So you have to walk that line. I think I get it that not all network. That's why I say not all networks are for everybody. Okay, a lot of people look at Twitter and they see it as a worthless thing, and I get it. But if you're going to dive in, you need to go in with both feet. And if you dive in with both feet, you have to dive into the Twitter pool as well. Okay.
So many wonderful questions. How are we doing for time? Should we move
We need
along?
to kind of move.
Okay, can I ask one more?
Yeah.
Is there a certain, from G Feller Studio, is there a certain time to reach people, the most people with a post?
Yeah,
Timing?
absolutely. Okay.
And also in international, if you have people following from all over the world.
Now, that is a time when scheduling comes in handy. Okay? Because of the fact that I can't stay up all night long. All right? I can't stay up all night long. I know that I have a large audience that is outside the United States. I know that because I've tracked my numbers over the years. Okay? So, used to when I would schedule updates, I would schedule United States updates. I would also schedule international updates. I quit scheduling United States updates, and I kept scheduling international updates. So the best time I've found to reach people, and this is going to sound really awful, but it's absolutely true. The best time to reach people is Monday through Friday when they're at work. Because people who are at work are looking for an excuse not to work. It's absolutely true. And so the times, like when I promote something, I'll promote it Monday through Friday between the hours of like 9 and 3. I get more response between the hours of 9 and 3 than I do at any other time. If I post something on a Saturday, I hear crickets chirp. If I post something on a Sunday, I don't even hear crickets chirp. Okay, all I hear is, I don't hear anything. So, Monday through Friday, definitely. If you want to tailor to the international crowd, most of the time international people will surprise you and they will actually find the stuff in their stream and respond to you anyway. I get responses hours after I've posted something, from international people all the time. But if you want to cater to them, look into something like CoTweet. And then what you'll have to do is, because Twitter, I don't think they allow duplicate status updates anymore. So if you want to, change one word, change a phrase, something like that, and then just schedule an international schedule to go out as well. Your United States friends that are still awake might find that a tad bit spammy, so you're going to have to find a middle ground there.